big mic today, but here we go. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being here with me for this launch of True North Alignment, which is an incredible system that I've been working on all year. And lovely to see some old faces, some new faces here today. And I'm going to be taking you on a journey of understanding what it is to live in True North Alignment. I'm going to be doing a demo with somebody from the audience that I haven't set this up for the first time in advance. So if you, throughout the event, are feeling that you would like to experience this work live here in this space, then you can volunteer yourself. And do stay till the end of the event, because at the event end, I'm going to be taking everyone through an experience to help you connect with your state of True North Alignment. What is True North Alignment I'm speaking about here? It's the return to what I call the one true state of being that exists inside us. This state is clear perception. It's when we're in flow, when we're in joy. We've all touched it. But the question is, can we enter this state by choice? Or do we have more of a random effects of how we experience it? And what would it be like if you can enter this state of North Alignment by yourself? So I'm going to be talking to you about how you can access this and what takes you out of alignment, which is the pre-existing states that I'm going to speak into further as this event goes on. When we're in that state, as I said, there's joy, flow, the stillness, creativity exists in the one true state, deep connection. You could say everything is more easy. It's like there's a clarity, an ability to just know what we need to do in which moment. And the problem isn't that alignment is rare, it's that most people cannot stay in it. We can't stay in it because of all the architecture of our past that's replaying, pulling us out into the mind, into the state that stops us from really being ourselves, where we're just looping the past again and again. So how does the pre-existing state take us out of this? Well, healing is very simple in its essence. It begins with a moment in time, usually as a child, where we experience an emotion for the first time, and we can't stay with this emotion, either because maybe we're alone or because our parents or caregivers aren't able to hold us in presence. So we feel the emotion and we resist it. And then it creates protection I'll speak about shortly. But the emotion is like fear or grief or anger. These are the core emotions, and there's an intensity to it. And this disconnects us from being in that perfect state where everything aligns to something is no longer aligned because we're starting to protect ourselves. And that protection is important because in essence, it stops us having to feel the intensity of the emotion. So it pushes that away and it creates protection. And protection could be, say, to avoid, to defend, to get angry about something, to procrastinate, to be bored. You know, we're going to, as I'm sharing, guys, do get involved in the feed right now. When I can't see it when I'm sharing my screen, but I will check the comments after this. It'd be great to have you engaged in this, and if there's any questions that come up, I'll see them. And like what do you see in your world? Like, how do you protect yourself most frequently? Are you an avoider? Do you get upset? How does it feel to be in a state of protection as opposed to a state of flow? What are the signs in your body that are there that are speaking to you. They're saying, right now, I'm not in flow. Something's heavier. Something's a bit stuck, a bit sticky. I'm not able to flow in conversation. The work I was doing earlier while I was writing my book is now not happening in the same way. It's like, what does that feel like to you? And pre-existing states aren't live all the time. They're dormant for much of the time, actually. And then it's just waiting for the right situation in our life to come forward and trigger us into this experience. It rises up. And then when it's live, we feel that familiar pressure, conflict, responsibility. These sort of things trigger us. Intimacy, uncertainty, opportunity, visibility, like when you get up on stage, when you have to present something, when someone speaks to you in a certain way. I mean, why I'm sharing this is because the art of True North is about being able to realign as quickly as possible to a one true state. When we're in the one true state, we can have that flow. We can create. Every moment we're out of it, we're not creating, we're just looping. And the best results we can get when we're in that state is what we've achieved in the past. Now, there's nothing wrong with perhaps some of the things we have achieved from pre-existing states. Some people have achieved a lot of success in their lives through this, but you'll never grow beyond that. And there's this time of the year where, in December, maybe you get the chance to review at the end of the year. How did you do with your intentions? Do some of you guys set intentions every year for what you want to achieve in your business, in your life? Give me the thumbs up if you do that. And yeah, Linda, I see that. And so often, I certainly saw with myself in the past, like I didn't achieve all of my intentions. And I see it with my clients, they set certain intentions and a lot of them don't actually change massively. There's growth and there's constriction, but it's like, if you're setting a huge goal to change your life in a big way, how do you do that? Well, you address the fact that you're no longer going to choose to hide in your pre-existing states and that you can operate in the now, in presence, and learn from this place how to really manifest your life in the world. So you don't choose drift. Your system itself chooses safety. That's what happens. To you, the drift may feel sudden, like clarity's just disappeared, heat's rising, you're getting frustrated. This is a sign that the pre-existing state has been set off. Now, if you have one pre-existing state, it's probably quite a simple thing to understand that this exists and that we can get underneath this with the right techniques and shift this and return to the one true state. But we don't have one. We have many, many, thousands often actually, pre-existing states. And as I say, a lot of these are lying dormant. And when they come live, they're pulling us out of presence into this pre-existing experience that was what the child first experienced and the way they protected themselves. So let me know in the comments if you're following this so far. Now, sometimes you can have multiple pre-existing states simultaneously live, and that's where it gets quite confusing. Because how do you know which is which or where to go when you've got, say, 3 or 4 different things pulling your attention simultaneously? It's very difficult to function in that state. Perception narrows, decisions are taking more energy for you. Expressions become managed. Leadership becomes, in a sense, performance. You're not operating from the now, you're operating from a state of striving, of trying to achieve. Actually, I can see the comments what this is like. Great. So I see Claire is saying can relate to multiple pre-existing states at once. It's difficult to identify what they are. Yeah, exactly. And Paris agreeing, and Linda saying I avoid deep negative feelings, deflect. Yeah, great. You see that, Linda. Then the feelings get stuck, and I get triggered from certain people, and you choose not to hide anymore. Yeah, keep the comments going, guys. It helps me like vibe with you. It's not just the Keith Hodge show, that we can be in this live container together. When you're in these states, flow doesn't exist. So in the comments, what is flow for you? And where have you experienced it? Is it a regular thing? Is it when you're just in your zone with your sport, with your music, with your family? Can you enter flow state yourself? Marianne says when she travels, they're sharing its clarity and ease. And Linda, flow happens when I'm truly present, playing with my grandchildren, being my true self. Yeah, fantastic. So the art of true north alignment is the possibility of being able to move into flow state more and more and more of the time. Which, if you're living out of it for a month, then it takes a week or a day, an hour. It's like we can live in this state, guys. That's what's happening to me this year, is that I'm living in joy. I'm living in this incredible presence. And through my work, I'm starting to see that others are entering this space and entering there quicker and holding it. We don't, flow doesn't need to be a mystery to us. It's only a mystery because of the architecture of all of our pre-existing stopping us from being there. Because if we have the pre-existing live, we're not in our flow. They can't exist together. And so your life effectively being run by a choice you didn't consciously make. Can you see that? And the more architecture you have, the less you are in your true state and the more survival that exists. And so no amount of strategy in business when you're in the pre-existing will help you. First of all, we need to return to the one true state. And then the strategy becomes obvious to us through our center that we need to take this direction. And a lot of people try and fix the symptoms of the protection. Like I'm procrastinating. I need to learn not to procrastinate, to train myself not to procrastinate. But it's an endless game because you're saying I need to train my protection not to do its work to protect me from the emotion that I wasn't able to feel once. You never win that game, guys. The protection has been there for decades. The only way to shift this is to face the emotion that was never faced in the first place. And so presence returns when you drop beneath the protection and you face this emotion. In essence, it's very simple. Having been in the healing field for nearly 2 decades now, running Intuity, I've seen a lot of and used a lot of techniques that are more complex. We don't need complex tools to do healing. We just have to find the emotion in the body and to meet it in presence fully. And then it dissolves and the whole story, the whole architecture that was founded on this disappears. But it's not actually simple to do that, you see, because then we're facing moment by moment the architecture that is designed. It's designed to stop us doing that. And the architecture is very much hidden in our blind spot most of the time. So how do you sense something that's in your blind spot? So what I'm going to take you through today is to help you understand more about the architecture that, that exists inside you. Then I'm going to say, as I said earlier, I'm going to demonstrate it live with one of you guys. And then towards the end of this evening, it's a 90-minute event. I don't know exactly when. This is the first time I run this, so I'll see how the timing goes. But there'll be an experience to have a chance to really drop your architecture, to be guided by me inside to the place where you reconnect with the one true state and start to dissolve the pre-existings. Before we go any further, who am I? Well, my name's Keith Hodge, and I've been running Intuity for 19 years and guided over 10,000 sessions personally myself. Been running an academy for the last decade nearly now, and it's gone through various forms. Most recently, it was the root healing method, and what I'm teaching now is an evolution of everything that came before. Quite a profound evolution. What I found was, and I really saw it this year, is that we have these incredible moments of breaking through in healing work, and we feel lit up, and then a day, a week later, the familiar heaviness, the familiar thoughts, the ways of coping have all started to rise up inside us once again, and then it's hard to see the wood from the trees. And even people that have worked with me very, very deeply, still returning to the architecture, and myself. And this year's been all about how is it possible to not have to continuously heal, to train ourselves to live in alignment. And that's what this new version of Intuity is about. And it's for leaders, founders, high achievers, anyone who really is committed to living at their best version of themselves, to choose to live in the one true state. It's my belief that we all have a purpose, something that is unique to us. Most people I meet have a sense of it. And most people aren't really birthing their gifts in this world, because we're not in presence enough to do that. To really birth our purpose, we have to live in presence. And so in Intuity 3.0, which is where this true north alignment is held in, is very much about bringing your purpose to the world through living in presence and in truth. How does that sound, guys? Who's committed to that in your life, with or without me? So I bring you back into coherence in yourself. This is what I do. And I support you to face by first of all locating the emotions in your body, which isn't always obvious. I've worked with, as I say, thousands of people, and some are very attuned to the sensitivity of their architecture, and others not so much. And generally, the more baggage we have, the less sensitivity that we have to start with until we've done enough of the clearing that we start to sense quickly. And a lot of it's stored in the blind spots. When I say a blind spot, it's like a point of access that is outside of your conscious perception right now. And the bigger the wounds, the protections are, and the emotions underneath, the more likely that it is outside of your blind spot. So I help people when they come and work with me, I go help them go straight to the biggest thing that's blocking them. You know, it makes sense, right? Let's start with the biggest thing that somebody is actually ready to deal with, and it's only ready if I can perceive it. Then they're ready to work with it. That's been a way that I've sort of seen this for a long time. If they're not ready, it won't show. And then you face it in your body. You go back to the origin. You face the emotion that originally was the cause of this. It dissolves, and everything that was built upon it, all the protection no longer needs to exist. That's not to say that the protection will just disappear overnight. It needs also to be faced in presence for a period of time. That's a variable, big variable. But you know, it's like you've molded plasticine, like into a shape, and it's been baked in the oven or something. It's like, it is that shape. That's decades of responding in the same way in the same situations again and again and again. But when the root is out, the protections can start to soften, and eventually they dissolve as well. And then, I mean, some people on here have shared this with me recently. Like Carmela Reed said to me that after the last retreat came back and just wasn't triggered by her husband when he's saying the same things. He's not triggered. If you can post in the comments, Carmela, about that. That's what happens when the architecture dissolves. You see, it's just not there. There might be some other things still there, right? And then the identity is trying to rebuild itself after a big shift. And the more identity we have, the quicker we'll be able to do that. But the more we shift this, the less there is identity, and then it becomes easier and easier to hold ourselves in presence. Yeah, come and let's post in the comments if you can see that. I feel completely different. Can't believe the change in me and my chronic fatigue. It's 99% gone. Wow. Yes, amazing. Wow. Getting better, Carmelo. And that nice smile. And so yeah, once you face that, then clarity returns. It's like decision making's easy. Your authentic expression is just naturally there. And you the teaching is then, okay, so that's here now. Something's moving me. How quickly can I come back? Because it's not about this work's not about having to keep coming back into the space to receive the work. It's now a training ground, and I'll speak to you more about this, of how you can start to master yourself and live from this baseline of your one true state. This is my purpose, at least one of them, is to help those that are ready to live from this state so their purpose can come through, and together we can make a much greater difference in the world, right? So before I aligned to True North, which was Intuity 2.0, I mean, there's some amazing stuff happening. There's a lot of people in this group that were part of that, and it's I went through a year of pause until recently to take myself through the process of facing identity in a really, really deep and quite painful, largely way throughout the year. And it led to the realization that the version of intuity that I was running before, although having amazing breakthroughs again and again for people, there was still something off with it. And that led to the understanding that nothing changes without aligning the underlying architecture of a being. And what I'd built wasn't scalable at that point because I was still in protective states within myself and holding together things with pressure and trying to manage spaces, holding people in spaces. I realized that there's nothing to hold. You guys are listening to this, you'll either vibe off it and want to be part of it, or you won't. And it's all perfect. There's nothing to protect for me anymore. But there was before. And that's draining. It's very tiring to hold things that aren't ours to hold, to play roles, to express overly in some ways, or to hide expression. Like, I'm sure you guys can hear yourselves in this. In fact, what are you hearing guys in this? Yeah, where do you see yourself doing this? Carmela said the chronic fatigues, largely shifting is because there's been a state shift, a very profound level in her. Do you get tired? Do you get frustrated, or you're striving, business isn't growing in the way you want, always trying something new? Yeah, let me know. Also, it might help me choose who I'm going to work with today. And for me, the internal state was the limitation of being able to grow maturity. When I dissolved the architecture that was driving me, everything changed. The old patterns just were unable to continue in that state. My baseline of true north, presence, joy rose, seemingly permanently now. It's quite remarkable. And life's organizing around that state, like this flow, there's meeting the right people, the opportunities coming up, the right people finding me. All the stuff I dreamed of once is now happening because there's no architecture that's trying to make something to be a certain way. This art of true north alignment is the manifestation of what I've gone through, and it's now here for you guys to train yourself in this. The joy being constant, creation flowing, and impact scaling in your life. Thanks, Steve, for sharing that. I see your comment there, being in touch with endless symptoms but unable to get to the root cause. What's that like for you? This ties nicely with this slide. What you're experiencing is drift is not inconsistency. It's not like you're not trying or hard enough or being lazy or anything like that. It's simply protection. It's the protection that was created by the mindset of a little you, a very little you. So, how on earth is that running the show decades later? It's quite crazy, really, when you think about it outside the box. Everyone knows these days of inner child work, but have you sort of seen it in this detail that your life is at the impacts of unconscious choices a little you made when you were 3 to 5, usually. It can happen that such a strong experience happens later in life, car accident, things like that, some sort of trauma that unfolds. But most of the time, it's embodied in these ages, And if you consider earlier life, I just don't see things embodying. I've got a young child myself, and I didn't see anything embodying him until 18 months. And I mean, that's a different story entirely. But if you can hold them in presence, it doesn't need to embody. Quite a remarkable thing that I'm witnessing with children. But for us adults, it has embodied. We weren't held in presence by our parents because they didn't know. They probably still don't know how to have their nervous system regulated in presence and not react when we screamed or when we got upset and we weren't held. So of course we resisted feeling that strength of emotion. And then that protection comes in, and over the years it becomes up every time that that situation happens, and then that's it. That's our identity. That's all we are. If Fred's always late, well, why is Fred late? What kind of protection is that? Or I always get tired when I go into public spaces. Okay, protection. That's all it is. There's no reason why you can't be in a public space and be absolutely energized if that's you. If I'm speaking to you right now, guys. So, just to recap, you're a true state of being, where the perception is clean, where joy is natural, where flow is effortless, where you feel fully yourself. Most people do not live from that state. They touch it in moments of meditation, or like Linda said, with grandkids. For some of you, it might be music, dance, cooking, who knows? But you will have touched it. I can, most people have experienced flow. But the question is how much of your life do you experience that? And how much of your life is predominantly run by the protections created in childhood? Some people pretty much only jumping from one pre-existing state to another. I mean, it's not a fun life when that's happening because the pre-existings are so strong that they are pretty much ever present. And it takes something remarkable for that individual to feel the one true state. The one true state is always there. It's just not visible when we have it, even one pre-existing state live. But if they are dormant, something brings them online and the system moves into survival. And it affects everything. It affects your relationships. Because if you're holding back in relationship, or if you're triggered, getting angry, it's going to affect those people around you. If you're playing roles, they're going to know it on some level that they're not getting the best of you in your business. It's going to cause you to not really know when the coach that you're hearing their strategy is sounds good, but you're not feeling inside the truth that's saying this isn't the right direction, or the staff member that you're about to recruit. Like when you're in the one true state, your senses are open, everything makes sense. But when you're in the pre-existing, you're going to make the same decisions that the pre-existing has guided you into before. To take less risk, for example, with money. If you don't have the capacity to invest financially in the right opportunities, then doors will just keep shutting again and again. Because maybe you have invested in the wrong opportunities that weren't being guided by your truth. It's just that it's very hard to make decisions that align with your being when you're out of center. You're just going to have experiences that tell you the world is a certain way. It has to be that way. And when you come to center, then suddenly it's easy. And you say, oh, of course, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, I will invest in that opportunity. And if you're a leader, if you're responsible for other people and you're coming from fear, anger, or frustration, like you're impacting that entire space, right? Everything you're creating is impacted by your inner world. This is happening all the time, guys. When you're in the pre-existing, we don't realize it. We might be doing our absolute best to be a good employee or to show up well with our family. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel that we are off center if we are. It comes out in our voice, it comes out in our eyes, in our expression. Even if you can't see the person and you can feel, you just know something's off. And so the action we achieve is capped, always capped when you're in the pre-existing, never able to achieve anything more than that. And then you come into the true state and everything is able to flow again. So joy can return when happiness is just missing. And just to go back into the drift and movement out, that it's not because something goes wrong. It's how our architecture is set up. It's like a certain mirror. It's like, oh, that particular thing seems like it's gone wrong. I wish I hadn't invested in that stock on that day because it's just gone down. And how does I always do that? Or why does my partner have to say that to me just before a meeting? And I'm stressed and triggered. And it's like, it's us, all in us. We can learn not to move out of center. Life can become a completely different existence. These are the sort of things that trigger us: a tone, a request, uncertainty, a loss, visibility. And then your past's running the moment. You're not here. You're not running the show from that place until it becomes dormant, and then you are again. Flow, it can't exist in a protective state. And this work is very much about the flow state. Drift isn't failure either. It's just a predictable pattern from an old state of being becoming active. Every time that same trigger comes up, if the architecture is still there, it will come live, and it will to the end of your life until you face the original motion. So as we identify the real problem is that most people try and fix the symptoms of the protection. I have chronic fatigue. I need to fix my chronic fatigue. Maybe I need to eat differently, exercise differently. It's like, well, maybe. Carmela just had a deep shift, and she's saying that the chronic fatigue is really changed. It's like the emotional state that we resist and the protection, it creates the experience of life. We don't need to fix anything. We just have to show up, face, and then move into presence, and then our body and our mind, they respond. They align with the one true state, and the one true state is not chronic fatigue. Now, if you have chronic fatigue, it might take a little time for the body to catch up with the state of being. So saying the protections, the architecture doesn't shift overnight because the emotion's been faced, but it can pretty quickly. The sort of things that people try and address are overthinking or hesitation, procrastination, emotional noise, self-doubt, inconsistency. These are effects, not causes. So you don't think your way into the drift, you just become it. Like something rises up, 1 degree, 2 degree, suddenly 10 degrees out of alignment, heavy, starting to think the worst. This flu thing in the UK, it's like, oh, what if I get the flu? Reading the news. Like when you're out of center, suddenly starts things start to creep into your inner space. When you're in alignment, there's this trust. Just trust, flow, very easy in that state. When it's active, you're not here, you're in survival. And that's why inner work can feel like hard work because things like the mindset, they don't stick. When the state's the same, nothing will stick until it goes dormant, and then you can function again. It's not to chase presence, it's not to meditate 15 hours a day. It's very simple. The way back's to meet the emotion that was originally avoided. And when you do, protection dissolves and your true state returns. This is the mechanics of alignment. This is the architecture beneath drift. Once you understand this, alignment becomes simple. Everything you experience comes from the state you're in. The state of being is creating this. So your perception, connections, you have the direction you're being moved in, how you're performing, behaving, experiencing. It's all coming from the state of being. And when that shifts, all of these things will shift. We're so caught up in the experience, we don't see the shift. It's just suddenly we're in the new way of thinking. So the art of alignment is to start to become aware, to train your sensitivity to be art. Something is coming in, which is the pre-existing. And that's a pre-existing state contains both the root emotion, say, for example, the fear that was once avoided, and it contains the protection that was put on top. It's the protection that engages with the world. From the first time your system didn't know how to face something. And you have the echo. This is like, well, how it sounds. It's like something in your system that's tightening, that is causing hesitation or doubt, pressure. You're overthinking, you're in your mind. It's an echo. It's not a truth. It's like a sensation that comes as part of this whole architecture. And you become aware of it, you don't then become it. And then the shift is the next part of this. So once you are aware of it, once you can feel it in the body, and you can get to the root of it and you can dissolve it in real time, then none of it exists anymore. And you feel amazing, you feel back in your power, in your joy. So this is the journey, the true north alignment. The deeper the patterning, the harder it is to do it. But we can with presence and with the right guidance if it's not something that we're capable of ourselves. And my job is to help train those that choose to work with me how to do this for themselves. Because that's where we're going to make the biggest difference with the world when we're in this pure state more and more of the time. So everyone take a deep breath. Take a moment to drop in. What state are you in right now? How did you enter this call? What was rising in your day? Are you aware of anything in your blind spots? This is the part that created the protection. You can't deal with the protection. I mean, with the root when you're in the protection. Like you kind of got to be out of it. In Chieti, we teach you how to, I call it dance with amazing range of protection so that you can always get underneath it. But you definitely can't think your way out of it because you're in the mind with the protection. So have a look at what Steve's saying. Lots of deep patterns with high awareness blinded by multitasking. Okay. Thinking of the future trapped in the past. Any other future thinkers here? Get stuck in the future. So when the protection activates, your story's taken over, the nervous system is defending, and your presence has disappeared. And to be able to do this, precision is required. You have to get to the right moment in time of the origin. If you want to do it real time, you need to sense when it's happening. That's a more of a mastery skill to do it real time. To begin with, it's just, okay, I've been in this a little while. It's impacting me. I'm done with that. I'm done with arguing with my partner for the fifth time in the same day. Time to take responsibility. What am I feeling? Okay. Where in the body? What is that feeling? What is that emotion? Can be present with it without becoming it in that moment. Where does it come from? Can you start to glean some information about this? It's not a it's not a concept what I'm teaching here. It's a skill that you can learn if you commit yourself to it, guys. And anyone can release emotions. Loads of systems of therapy and healing do that. But very few dissolve the root so it doesn't return. And that's where I was before with Intuity, is that the pre-existing would keep rising regardless of how many things were shifted. Because there wasn't presence, there wasn't a depth of presence that was allowing the whole architecture to dissolve after the root shift. So for those of you that have been with me for a while, something for you to take away is I've seen that the architecture doesn't all dissolve as I thought it did when we get to the root. It takes some commitment to permanently shift what have been molded over decades. And then you can live from that new state when that's happened. So I shared this before, but you cannot sense your blind spot when you're in the pre-existing state. It's impossible. You have to step out of it somehow. And then you can start to sense what's there. Because protection hides, manipulates. It's a master at stopping you because it's been that way for the last, say, 30, 40, depending on how old you are, 50, 60 years. It's been there since you were 3 to 5. So of course it's a master stopping you from accessing it. And when it feels threatened, the architecture comes up before you even have a chance, really. You're just tired, disconnected, you feel pressure, you feel reactive. And then in that space, it's even harder to be able to sense. But this works very much about sensing. Because when you can sense, you can access the blind spot. You can access the emotion, you can do the real deep inner work. It's like enhancing intuition, you could say. We train in the four senses: seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing. 80% of information is non-verbal. This is what I used to teach before. Still very valid that when you develop your sensitivity, you have the skill to work both with yourself and for those of you that go on to become facilitators with precision in this is where it's held. This is the point of origin. You have the seed grows into the plant through poking through the earth, through the shoots, through the leaves, through the flowers, the metaphor of the root that I've shared many times before. Unless you can sense the seed, you're going to work with something further down the timeline. You know, in therapy works, last week I had an argument with my girlfriend. You're never going to dissolve anything permanently like that, guys. Like that conversation could go on for years and does sometimes, right? It's like, okay, well, what do I feel in my body when I had an argument with a girlfriend? Okay, I feel frustration. Great. Okay, now we got the chance to make some progress. Where? Where do you feel that? I feel that in my gut. Okay, let's trace that back past all the leaves, past the moment poking through into the seed. Now we can really do something to shift this. When you can face the seed, whole thing will shift. And the next time you're having a conversation about your girlfriend, you're not sharing, last week I had an argument. Yeah. It's not about her. It's never about her. It's about you and your inability to stay in presence, regardless of what she says or how she gets triggered. Nothing outside causing anything in here. It's all in here already, being pulled out of dormancy by the outside. So the hidden genius is that the body. The body is a map, guys. It remembers. It's all there when we can sense. But we can't always sense what's there. Sometimes you need a support of someone that can sense your architecture and guide you outside of that to be able to feel and to do this work of getting to the source. And the more you do it and the more you train, the easier it becomes. And then over time, you start to be able to do it more real time until the point where you start to live more and more from presence. And so, you can see here, I won't read these out, but you can read for yourself. People that have worked with me recently, they're sharing the profound impacts it's had in their lives, often just in one or two sessions. Like all of this that people are sharing is inside them already, right? With Isabel, the love into the deepest truth of who she was. Yeah, she just connected to a one true state, which is already there. And it's there for each of you guys, right? When you're able to dissolve the architecture. This is lovely Carmela that's with us today. And then we've also got Julie and Claire who are also here, and welcome to share yourselves, guys. It's amazing, amazing what life becomes when we dissolve the architecture. And for some, it will last longer than others. It just isn't a failure when the protection comes up again. It's always going to come up when there's more of the architecture dissolved. It's the natural order of things. Once you've got enough of it, your baseline becomes flow, joy, gratitude, being here. And then it becomes easy. Like we don't need the strategy. We're not striving to like, what are my steps? That's the biggest change for me this year. And for those of you who've worked with me, are probably seeing a difference in this talk. It's like I know I don't need a coach. I don't need anyone to show me the way. It's clear to me because I'm centered in my being. And so many coaches I've used like over the years, and some of them have been brilliant, some of them not so much, but none of them have touched what I'm now working from, because there is no strategy except that comes from the inner being of us to say, this is the path, this is what you're here to do, right? This is how to bring it to the world. Is this landing with you guys? Can you hear anything in yourself with this? Can you post in the chat, please? So this is the point where I'm gonna I'm gonna do a demo. So I'll stop sharing for a moment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, who hasn't worked with me before and would like to experience something live? I'm not going to go into too much detail. And Andrea, yes. Let's bring you forward first. I'll see. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, give me 1 sec. Now that I've plugged in my system, I'm going to need headphones. Can you say something?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. How you doing?
Yeah, great. Great. Thank you for the session. Pretty spot on.
It's a little bit the mic, your mic is, for me at least, it's a little,
Oh, okay. Because I'm on my phone, so I'll
that's
take
much
it.
better. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, so I know you haven't worked with me. I did meet you recently. That was a great chat we had. Um, what's going on for you in this call today? Like something that's current.
There is a feeling of overwhelm within the body. So in this moment, I feel the stomach and the um, area of chest, but lower parts of my body are vibing, and I'm there with it. I'm sitting with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just close your eyes for a moment, take a breath. You said the lower parts of your body and your chest. Is it the same feeling, or is it multiple feelings, would you say, that you're picking up?
Multiple,
Yeah.
multiple.
To choose one that we're going to hone in on.
Okay, I choose the belly area, which is a little bit of pain.
Mm-hmm. It's below the belly button or above it.
Around it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, take a breath. Be connected to your heart as I work with you. And ask your heart, what is the emotion underneath the pain?
I don't know how to explain it. I don't have words for it. There is a ball in the body, emotional ball, so to say.
Mm.
It has a shape of emotion, if I could talk about it like this.
Okay, so you got an emotional ball. Breathe into that. I'm going to play a track to give you a chance because I know you're live and probably weren't quite expecting this. So just give yourself a chance to really drop in with this ball of emotion. Any clarity on the emotion yet? Anything coming to you, what it is?
I tend to hear you very far away, so and I don't hear the music. If you're playing it, I don't hear it.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, but there's no music in the background.
Okay. For now, there's no music, so I'll ask you to just drop into your heart below this ball now. What is the emotion? Is it anger, fear, sadness? Something else?
Fear
Mm-hmm.
around the heart center and to the belly. Also my growing area.
For those of you listening, is it better now, the sound? So breathe into the fear. Ask your heart, is the exact quality of the fear? Is it dread?
It tends to shift, it changes form, and it's now less of a place in the body. It kind of shifted to the boundaries of the body.
That's your protection trying to take you off the focus. So stay with the belly. Yeah, it's still in there.
Yes.
Breathe into the belly. Start to trace back this fear now, Andrea. through time in this life, things might start to flash, have your senses activated, seeing, feeling, hearing, or knowing, whichever you have access to. So for those of you watching, just help you see what's been going on. So Andrea is aware of a sensation. The emotion was in his blind spot, began as a ball, and it's turned into fear. Now we're tracing the fear back.
I can feel it in the system, but still I'm trying to find a way to respond, um, to find words for that emotion. And as I stay with it, I also want to answer you and want to find it. You know, there is a need to find it, but it prevents me from entering it deeper.
Mm-hmm. To be in presence with your breath, with your stomach. Your protection is confusion, which is trying to come up. But I know you can, from the conversation we had, you have the ability to be present, to be present beneath any confusion, beneath any trying, Andrea. Allow the architecture to show you where this was first experienced at a younger age.
Oh, I feel tightening in the back of the head,
Mm-hmm.
on the sides of the head, on the back side of the head, but I still feel the origin in the belly.
Mm-hmm.
As uncomfortable feeling arises, it's not any more pain and emotion, it's like a weakness of the belly area.
Mm-hmm.
So like my belly is I've eaten something bad, like bad egg. So it's more of that vibe of belly sickness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what you're doing is you're starting to pull it out of your blind spots, and more areas of the body are starting to speak to you. And this is the architecture. Now, if we had the time, I would take you into the root of this and have the opportunity to face it. I've just noticed the time, and it's like 8:15. So this
Don't worry,
day is going
don't
quick.
worry.
Um, the intention for this was to demo to you guys that we can go from not being able to be aware of what the emotion is to sensing it. And then the pathway opens up to be able to trace it. And that's the beginning of this journey that we've started, Andrea. And if we get the chance to work together, there will be a route to this. And the protection that's playing out is one of subtly, I would say, but it's confusion. And confusion can be quite a hard protection to drop beneath. But this is going to start it, so you can meditate on this when we do the experience. And thank you so much for stepping forward. Like, if you want to stay to the end, I'll touch in with you at the end of this event.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, so do drop your comments into the feed, guys. What did you pick up on with Andrea? So the signs of survival are when you leave alignment, your system has to work harder to hold everything together. More management, more effort, more energy, less money, less happiness, less growth, for the costs of that. Your system's protecting instead of moving from truth, and nothing new is created in that state. And when you return to true north, as I've shared many times, joy, the flow, ease. You feel like yourself everywhere you go, not just a different you, just you without distortion. And why it's hard to stay aligned when you have a breakthrough. Protection was created before language, before logic, and it's hidden deep in your unconscious. When it's active, it doesn't feel like protection to you. It feels like your truth. It's like, of course, I should feel that way. It's your personality. It's how you know how to be in those situations, and it's played out thousands of times. It doesn't announce itself when it comes up. It masquerades as your truth. And when you've got thousands of pre-existing states, as you see with Andrea, there's like one there. Like, I could probably pick any one of you and pull up a state. Yeah. We have these in us. We don't realize it. And so we're out of alignment. The question is, how far out of alignment are we in any one moment? But if we're out of alignment at all, we're not in the one true state. And it is a skill. You're not meant to manage this. It's to face it. It's to dissolve it, to return to alignment. And life from true north is ease. When you stop leaving yourself, everything that once required effort becomes easy. The decisions are effortless. Expression becomes clean. Pressure disappears. Energy rises, and creativity flows. People are drawn to you naturally. And your direction is obvious to you. This is the way to live life. For me, this is, and I'm here to share it with you guys. So your natural intelligence is restored into your leadership from this space. And for those of you that are curious, intrigued, or a strong yes to what I've been sharing with you today, the natural next step is it's called the Accelerator. It's for people who are ready to stop visiting alignment and to start really living from it moment by moment. If you're done spending energy managing pressure, noise, and doubt, and to choose to come back to coherence quicker and quicker, then the Accelerator is a space to do that. It's a 4-day training in February. I'm going to share the link in a moment in the chat. And after the 4 days over 2 weeks, it goes into a 6-week journey, which is the Accelerator part of it, to help you to embody this into your life. So you're going to learn how to come back to center, how to open and develop your senses, how to spot when you're moving into the pre-existing and it's a phenomenal healing space. So many, many layers will come forward for you to dissolve in real time. So inside it, it's a live field with me, with the team, and with each other to learn what it is to live in North alignment and what it's like when we're not in North alignment. Like your pre-existings will come up again and again in this container. It's designed to draw them up, and you start to learn the difference, to be present in this now moment, to the fact that you're moving, and it can get quicker and quicker and quicker. That's what the 6 weeks is for, is to help you. If it's a week, down to a day. If it's a day, down to an hour. And you start to get your life back. You stop surviving for massive chunks of time. What if it's the ability to come back in a second? That's mastery. And that is my intention, to give you playground, really, to start to develop this in yourselves. It's for leaders, founders, entrepreneurs, anyone who's committed to leaving from presence and not pressure. The alignment is not achieved by the mind, guys. It's achieved by our state of being. Everyone take a deep breath. When alignment leads, our purpose becomes inevitable. Take a moment to connect with your heart. Drop into stillness, into presence. Just going to hold a space of presence here for you to close your eyes. And start to face the different sensations in your body. If you can locate any emotion within your body that's currently live, maybe you came in with it. Maybe it's come up as we've been speaking, which can happen. And take some deep breaths into your stomach. What is the emotion? Maybe it's just a feeling to start. Ask yourself, is there emotion underneath feeling? What is the emotion? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it sadness? And where did it start? It's the first moment where you began to feel this emotion. And the time we have, you may or may not be able to locate this. If you drop into stillness, the protection softens. The resistance stops, and you can start to feel and you feel what was never felt. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. For sure you can, with the right guidance, with the right time, holding a space of presence here. So let yourself drop into it. Let the noise dissolve. Maybe, maybe feeling a little lighter. None of this architecture is who you are. Created by a child in a moment where you couldn't remain present and you didn't have a teacher to help you stay present. It's the first time I've run this event, and I can see that it needs to be 2 hours in future to give a longer experience here and to have the music working. It's all perfect. Sometimes silence is a perfect way to do this. No music, no distraction. Take a moment in your hearts to thank yourself for taking the time. I thank you for taking the time to be here with me today for this launch of True North Alignment. Honor your times so you can gradually start to come back. It's nearly 8:30 now. Opening your eyes. Hmm. I've posted the link in the chat, guys. So if you are interested on any level, click it before you leave. You can check out the accelerator. And if you are interested in seeing if this is the right fit for you on the page itself, the next step goes into a call with me where we can have a chat and see if it's the right thing for you at this point in your journey to commit to the journey of True North. I see some of you sharing in the chat. Mary, thank you so much. The energy presence. If presence such a gift, thank you, Mary. Linda saying it's great breathing into it. You're welcome, Linda. Be nice to complete with maybe one share. From someone who's got their camera on. Let's hear from Linda. Hey, Linda. See you.
Thank you. So that was interesting to me. It was, I've had some sibling rivalry, and what came up was jealousy. Is just I need to work on, or I want to work on working through that jealousy. And I never really viewed myself as a jealous person. And I always found it very interesting that I have a child who has a lot of jealousy. But now, after doing that experience for a few minutes, I get it. I get it. So that's something that I would love to work on.
Yeah,
It was powerful. Thank you.
ancestral. Yeah, you see it clearly
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
I do. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. Thank you for sharing. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really, really appreciate it. Um, if anyone's got any questions, you can reach out to me. And for those of you that feel it in your hearts to explore this further, I look forward to meeting you. For now, I wish you a good night. See you soon.